look at the model of the blood vessel, what I'm looking at is this is an artery, this is a vein. This hole where the blood goes through is called the lumen. Lumen, L-U-M-E-N. If I do a needle, that hole that goes through the needle is called the lumen. That's all the lumen means, is the hole in whatever it is. So this is the lumen. These are my 3 layers. Remember, all blood vessels have 3 layers except capillaries. Look, tunica intima, closest to the blood. Tunica media and the tunica externa. You can call this the tunica interna, the tunica media, and the tunica externa. Okay? Notice, look how thick it is, tunica media in an artery, and how thick it is in a vein. See the difference?
Yeah.
A lot thicker in an artery.
Because it pushes the blood?
Yeah, well,
the heart pumps.
it makes it do this.
Yeah.
Okay, now, blood comes out of an artery and goes into an arteriole, little artery. And then it goes through a capillary bed, and it comes out a venule, the little vein. Comes back up, and it goes to a vein. Notice that this vein has a valve. See the valve in the vein? Only veins have valves. All right? See where this red one and the blue one are touching? That's an anastomosis. Where the red one, the arteriole and the venule are touching, that's a anastomosis. Now, see this red one right here coming off of the tunica intima? Right here? This is a nutrient artery, but what it's doing is the blood going through here, through that artery in the vein, the blood vessel never gets to use it. So it has this blood vessel that takes the blood, and see the red vessel here, and the red vessel here? That's called the vasovasorum, V-A-S-O, V-A-S-R-O-U-M, vasovasorum. It means vessel of vessels. This is the one that's going to take the oxygen and give it to the arteries and the veins. It's going to give the nutrients to the arteries and veins. And so then we have the vasovasorum vein that brings it back to the vein, and it goes away. Okay? One more time, real quick. Artery, vein. The lumen opening, tunica intima, tunica media, tunica externa. Tunica intima, the inside. Tunica media, the middle one, and the tunica externa, the outside one.
T-U-N-I-C-A?
Yes, T-U-N-I-C-A. Tunica means coat. Okay? So then we come out of the artery and we go into little arterioles, little arteries, and we go through the capillary bed. Remember, these are 1 cell thick. Comes back in a venule and comes up to a vein. Veins have valves. The veins that have valves are really the ones in the arms and the legs. Okay? Because it's got to come up. Here, where the artery and the vein are touching, that's an anastomosis.
How do you spell it?
Anastomosis. S-T-O-M-O-S-I-S. Yes, anastomosis. S-A-N-A-S-T. Yeah. And then this is your vasovasorum, giving blood to the blood vessel itself. So that's this. And now we look at the fetus. And in the lab notes, I have some up on my desk if you need them. Starts right there, fetal circulation. Okay? This is the placenta, this pancake. Anybody wear hypoallergenic makeup? Yeah? So they're made out of placentas.
I think all makeup is hypoallergenic.
Yeah, but it's made out of placentas. When we deliver babies, we used to freeze them, and every once in a while they would come and pick them up, and they take them and they make hypoallergenic makeup.
Like, is it like, I heard people make like a smoothie out of it. Maybe.
Some do, some cultures.
Is that like a good idea?
Yeah. Well, here's why. What do your dog and cat do with the placenta?
They eat it.
And what it does is it helps to shrink the uterus.
It's not really gross.
Well, it sounds gross. It looks gross when you look at it. But it helps to shrink the uterus and helps to control bleeding of the mama. Some people want it and they'll take it home and they'll plant it, and then they'll plant a tree. Makes the trees grow like crazy. Makes great rose bushes. Okay, it's nothing but nutrients.
Don't they also keep it, or is it the umbilical cord for like medical reasons? Like
no, we keep this, but we don't have to. If you want it, when you deliver, we take the placenta, we put it in a big pan, and we look at it. I've got to make sure that it all came out.
You got to pay for it too.
No, it's yours.
No, I remember if they held it for you for medical reasons, you had to pay a fee.
Blood.
Okay, that's
Okay. But that's a blood test.
Oh.
But no, this, we're going to freeze it and sell it to the cosmetic
My
company.
placenta could be on
Yeah, I know, right?
Because it's gonna be on somebody's face.
Now, I've got to make sure that all this placenta came out. But this is the mama side over here. It's right up against the uterine wall. This is where all the oxygen and the carbon dioxide gets exchanged. This is where the nutrients get exchanged. Blood is going to leave the placenta, and see the one little red dot?
Red dot. Oh, yes, yes.
See the one little red dot? That's the umbilical vein. This red vessel right there is the umbilical vein. See it? The umbilical vein goes into the liver.
Oh, wow.
See that turn right there? That's the ductus venosus.
Does that go away after birth, or?
No, it's when you're still in mama. This is the fetus, still in mama.
So it goes into the
Liver, and right there is the ductus venosus inside the liver. Ductus because it's open, venosus because it's a vein going back to the fetal heart. Then it goes into the inferior vena cava. And the inferior vena cava brings the blood up here to the right atrium. Okay, that hole in the heart is the foramen ovale. Foramen means opening. And it's oval shaped, so it's the foramen ovale. And then right here, blood comes out of the heart. So this is an artery, and this is the ductus arteriosus. All right? So these are the fetal structures, still inside of mama. I have the umbilical arteries, these two purple ones. I have the placenta. I have the umbilical vein, and I have the ductus venosus. Drains into the inferior vena, comes up here to the right atrium, and I have the foramen ovale. And then when the blood leaves the heart, I've got the ductus arteriosus. And that's all of these, okay? And this tells you what the remnant is. This is when that baby goes, and we change pressures, all these things start closing. And so they're different in us. These umbilical arteries become the median umbilical ligament because they're right down the center from your belly button. Okay, the median umbilical ligament.
So is that
Go ahead, no.
So is that where like hernias come from?
Umbilical hernias are right here.
So that's from the artery?
That's from the pull of the umbilical cord.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But this is the median umbilical ligament, was the umbilical arteries. If you've been pregnant, you've seen where these are. If you could see it, there's a black line that goes from the pubic bone straight. It's called the linea nigra. It follows the umbilical ligaments.
So it always stays there, never goes away?
No. The ligaments, no.
Oh, okay.
But your black line when you're pregnant, that goes away.
Yeah.
Yeah, that goes away.
I had a question. So you have so when the stomach grows for like a baby, the muscles go to the side, right?
No.
Or is it no? Are they
Muscles are all out here.
Okay.
What goes to the side are all your guts. Everything you have in there right now, when that uterus moves up, it pushes it to the top. That's why you get so much heartburn. Stomach's up here.
Constipation.
Yeah. Okay. So, see this purple one right here? That's the abdominal aorta. And these are the common iliacs, and your umbilical arteries come off of the internal iliac. So here comes your umbilical arteries. It goes to the placenta. This is your umbilical vein. Umbilical arteries become the median umbilical ligament. The umbilical vein becomes the ligamentum teres, or the round ligament. So what teres means is round. The ductus venosus becomes the ligamentum venosum. The foramen ovale becomes the fossa ovalis, and the ductus arteriosus becomes the ligamentum arteriosum. So what you should have heard is all of them are going to be ligaments except for the foramen ovale. That becomes the fossa ovalis. Again, umbilical arteries, because I've got two, become the median umbilical ligaments. The umbilical vein becomes the round ligament, or the ligamentum teres. The ductus venosus becomes the ligamentum venosum. And the ductus arteriosus becomes the ligamentum arteriosum. Foramen ovale became the fossa ovalis. Now on the test, I'll say name this in the fetus. And then I'll say name the remnant. Remnant means what's left over. Okay? Excuse me. And they're all written right there for you. And this helps you understand that 85% is going to go straight through that foraminal valley to the left atrium. Okay?